Well, at the end of a long racing season, especially for people from Detroit, Michigan, it's very appropriate to end up at Daytona Beach. The speed records that were set here on this very beach are iconic. Man, those were the halcyon days of our sport. And then, of course, there's the International Speedway, which is an icon in and of itself. What a place to end up the Dodge Viper Cup season. 3 cars still in it, 2 races to go, and it's all gonna end here as we finish up an incredible 2011 season. These 2 cars are definitely in it to win it. This is Dodge Viper Cup.
The 2011 Dodge Viper Cup, presented by Pennzoil Ultra, begins to draw to a close. This is the 9th round of the championship at Daytona International Speedway. And Tom, first of all, oh, that poor boogie board.
Hey, listen, it was very cheap, so it was a one-use thing. Thanks very much for bringing that up, Greg.
Absolutely. That was absolutely wonderful. And, of course, the beach there, such history, and we've got a grid that is about to make history, certainly. Dominik Farnbacher making his first appearance as teammate, 2 points leader Ben Keating, then Craig Stanton, another celebrity driver, and A.J. Morgan right there in the points, as you talked about. Jeff Courtney, the 3rd guy, still in it with an opportunity, and the always fast Dave Fiorelli. Mark Montour makes a return, and Jim Booth up from USGT giving his first start in Dodge Viper Cup competition. Todd Nelson, always quick. Kurt Solberger as well, filling out row number 5. We go to row 6. Nice to have Connie Bogan back with us again. And Dave Mazek filling out row number 6. Go to row 7. Mike Von Quillick and Alan Johnson, the NHRA Pro Stock driver, making his 2nd appearance in these beautiful ACR-X machines. Brad Gorandona and Dave Decker complete row number 8. And as we move down to row 9, Eric Galern starting at the back of the field. And at the very back, in his debut, 17-year-old Louis Philippe Montour, on a quick break from school here, has the opportunity. The wheel and lights are on. We're about ready to go with the 9th round of the championship. There's the green. And Craig Stanton in that yellow Viper ACR-X absolutely parked Montour into the dirt, and a huge wiggle right there by Todd Nelson, able to save it, but scary moment, Tom.
Oh, big time. When you're in a standing start situation, you assume fundamentally that everybody's going to go. Craig Stanton didn't go and caused a huge problem in back of him.
Well, of course, you're behind these cars, and other cars in front of you can be unsighted like that. Great reactions by everybody, and Dominik Farnbacher out front. And, of course, this young man, very talented, tremendous capabilities in anything he drives, and although this is his first appearance in the ACR-X's in the Dodge Viper Cup presented by Pennzoil Ultra, recently had a fairly nice little achievement in a little place called the Nordschleife.
Yeah, the Nürburgring, he set a brand new lap record for the Viper ACR, and now the glory's back in Viper's hands. And Farnbacher brought in here by Ben Keating's organization. What do you think? Maybe a bit of a ringer?
Absolutely. I think he's there to help with Ben in terms of points. And we understand there are no team orders, so he's going to race for it. But if he can steal points from the other guys, so much the better for Ben. Smart move by a guy going for a championship. And, of course, we talk about Dominik in that record, the production car lap record at that Nordschleife, and just a remarkable achievement. And you can see right now, he's out front drawing away. And this is smart for Ben. Tucks in behind, picks up a toe when he needs it here, and the two of them already starting to ease away just a little bit from A.J. Morgan. Not what young A.J. wanted to see.
No, absolutely not. A.J.'s in this to win it, and he's trying to stay up on points. He knows that Farnbacher's going to play a role in this, but Craig Stanton was going to play a role in it too. A very professional driver appearing here as a celebrity. Now that he's out of the mix, A.J. sees new light.
Absolutely. Craig, of course, lots of laps here around Daytona, but not any standing starts, and certainly not one in a big horsepower Viper ACR-X. And just had a little bit of an error right there, cost him dearly, but I suspect we'll see him coming up through the pack. And Keating right now just following that team car, staying close. And you can see they are starting to draw away already. And right now, Keating, Dom Farnbacher, a lot of laps around here at Daytona in a variety of equipment, immensely talented. And Keating right now, this is also a nice learning opportunity to see, all right, I can do this here, watch what Dom's doing, and he's making it work.
Well, they shared a car here at Daytona last year. They ended up in the car together, became great friends, and Ben is very quick to say he's learned a lot from Dominik Farnbacher over that year's friendship. And of course, they were in Nürburgring together, so they got to spend some time in a car over there, and that'll take care of the cojones factor for any driver.
Without a doubt, and obviously paying off, a good plan when it comes together. Farnbacher and Keating out front, A.J. Morgan and Jeff Courtney, the other two of the points for the battle, third and fourth, Fiorelli.
With so much racing going on in the world, you'd have to be a four-headed monster to keep up with it all. Luckily, we have that. Join Peter Keene, Bill Wood, Errol Tucker, and their guest driver analyst each week for an opinionated look at the news coming out of the racing world. Remember, it's GoRacingTV.com for all your racing and video needs.
We are back at Daytona International Speedway, and we've got company. Look at a couple of big choppers coming over. There's an airport right by here, of course, Homestead Air Base, not far away. A lot of air traffic in this area. But right now, the speed is on the ground. It's the Dodge Viper Cup's 9th round of the Championship Series, presented by Pennzoil Ultra. Watching a great battle here. That is Todd Nelson in that black ACR-X, and a recovering Craig Stanton as he sits in 8th and trying to take 7th away from Todd.
All right, we've got the report from the crew chief. Here's what happened. He stalled the car on the start, but he was belted in so tight he couldn't reach forward to push the start button again. So he had to loosen his belts, start the thing up, strap back in again, and then take off. Good story.
Oh, it's a great story, and that is a great move, the way he started that over-under, and then Nelson covers it beautifully and just shuts the door, and Stanton, obviously a very savvy driver, backs off just a little bit, trying to get another run as they come up and onto the banking, out of the second of the two hairpins, and then turn 6 and up onto this high-speed banking. And this is great because this is a track where these Vipers and those beautiful V10s, they can really just let them fly.
They're going just about as fast as they're going to go here at Daytona International Raceway, and everybody's enthusiastic about it, but nobody more than Craig Stanton. After practice, after qualifying, every time he gets out of the car, he's got a huge grin on his face. He says, "I'm loving this. When are you inviting me back?" I think we've got a new enthusiast.
Absolutely, and boy, did he use that move to perfection to get around Nelson into that very challenging bus stop. Makes that pay. Now he's coming after Jim Booth, and Booth up from US GT Racing. Report is he may have moved just a little bit early, not used to standing starts, and he may be heading into the pits for a drive-through penalty. But nonetheless, great to have Jim Booth in this championship. He brings a wonderful new sponsor in McDonald's and also a lot of Viper experience.
Well, you know, they've been a huge sponsorship of racing for a number of years. And in a smaller series like this, I've brought the sponsorship to the series, and so hopefully we can grow it from there. I raced here 2 years ago for the first time, and I had two cars. I had a Viper ACR and also had a Nissan GTR, so I had about 8 sessions in 2 days here. Absolutely. I spent about three and a half years in a Viper, track days with the Viper Club, so you know, the braking is pretty much the same, but the power, the torque band is just far, far superior in this race car, as well as the cornering, the tires, the slicks. It's 2 or 3 levels above the ACR. John Archer Racing had taken care of my car for a number of years when I was just doing the track days. So I became very familiar with a lot of the racers, with the actual car itself. Couldn't wait to get in it. No, you know, a guy told me once, if you ever want to win a race, you got to finish a race. So my first Viper Cup race, I'm going to finish the race. So hopefully I'll just work my way up through the field.
And it's that kind of challenge that he is certainly relishing, having all of that extra performance of the ACR-X. and loving every minute of it. And we're loving every minute of this battle. That is Eric Galern. Right behind him is LP, as they call him, Louis-Philippe Montour, 17-year-old on a break from school. And they both started at the absolute back of this pack, Tom. 18th for Montour, 17th for Galern, and they're up and battling for 8th and coming on.
You know, this Louis-Philippe Montour is a sensation. He's been driving his dad's Viper for the last 3 years. He's been driving an ACR-X at Mont-Tremblant, Quebec for the last season and doing sensationally in it. And Mark admits to us that, yes, Louis-Philippe is just a little faster than me. It turns out that little is a bit more than a little. But we're looking for big things from this guy. They've committed already to a full season for next year.
Oh, that's great news, because he is certainly talented. Look at this move as he's trying to get down underneath Galern. Galern taking it all the way up onto the wall on the banking here, and here comes Montour. He's down to the inside, and at this stage you're pretty much flat out, and that inside you wonder, well, is there a big difference? Well, the inside is just that little bit shorter, and if you can stay put long enough, eventually that should bring you past him, and it looks like he's got that inside. Galern thought about turning in as they got to the bus stop and realized, no, if I do that, we're going to wreck a couple of nice Vipers. That was a smart move by Eric.
Eric Galern lost the front end there and decided to have a cooler head and stay on to fight. Meanwhile, there's your leader, Greg.
Boy, and Dom Farnbacher from the drop of the flag, he has stretched it out, now opening that margin, I should say, over Keating. Then Morgan and Courtney, though, they're there with Stanton coming on. We'll be right back with more Dodge Viper Cup presented by Pennzoil Ultra.
Hi there, I'm Tom Natchu, and this is Greg Kramer. We're called the old bastards of racing in many circles. You know, I guess we met back in the late 1980s.
Easy. It had to be at least that far back. Glory day of some racing, too.
Oh, absolutely. Trans Am was a part of the picture, and actually I learned to do pro announcing from this man around the Trans Am Championship. Oh, that is a long time ago.
A very long time ago, but I'll tell you what, you take a look at Trans Am racing in the early 90s in particular, the names that were running at that time. But the other side of the story was World Challenge was really starting to come alive at that point. And the names in that, there were sometimes you'd look at the two rosters and go, you know, I'm not sure which one is the most talent. Some amazing stuff from those decades past. And of course, a lot of those drivers also doubling up, running amateur racing in the runoffs. And it was spectacular stuff.
Now, GoRacingTV has got all of that action, Trans Am World Challenge, and even some runoff material, all coming up over the next season. That's going to be something to watch.
I know, to be able to relive those 2 decades of motorsports from the Sports Car Club of America's Pro Racing Department, Trans Am World Challenge, and then you include the National Amateur Championships, the runoff, the intense battles that unfolded there. It simply doesn't get any better than that, and it lives again right here on GoRacingTV.com.
Because I need to spend more time in front of my computer.
Ninth of 10 rounds of the Dodge Viper Cup presented by Pennzoil Ultra and at Daytona International Speedway. The infield lake, well, where did that big hole come from? Well, all that dirt for the banking was excavated there. Then they let it fill in, and now they actually hold jet ski races there. It is truly the international center of speed as we are watching Dominik Farnbacher, who has just been absolutely spectacular in this first appearance in the Dodge Viper Cup. You can see Ben Keating is still there, and then the two of them have that margin. You just saw the orange flash there of young A.J. Morgan, who still is in this championship battle. But Farnbacher has been nothing short of spectacular, and as you take a look, you can see the gap that he has opened up at this stage. No Team Warners, you got to give credit to Ben Keating for that. But Farnbacher at the Nürburgring, we talked about it. The ACR took those cars over there, and Dodge now owns the record for the production car lap record at that most challenging of tracks, and Dom Farnbacher was the driver. He tells us about that great experience. 14 miles in just over 7 minutes.
It was a great opportunity for me because I don't had any idea what was planned. I just heard on the side that Dodge is planning to do a run on the Nürburgring after losing the lap, I think, to another car. They wanted to come back strong and win and get the record. After a few laps, we were pretty comfortable with the car and put stickers on. The lap was done within 1 lap, and everybody was happy after that. That was say it's a great opportunity for me to come back here in the Dodge Viper Challenge. Tomball Dodge really made it possible for me to attend here, and I take this opportunity and try to help Ben Keating out and trying to team up together to secure his championship chances, of course. Other than that, it's just a great racetrack. I love that car. I love the whole package here, and I really enjoy it.
Well, certainly Farnbacher, a top-tier talent, but that speaks volumes about the ACR to be able to get in that car and be comfortably quick in it that quickly. And look at this move. Todd Nelson around Fiorelli. A little too hot. Oh, no, he can't quite get it. Drops those rights into the dirt and somehow is able to save it. Fiorelli, I thought, might be able to get a run at him here, but watch behind them. There he is, LP, Louis-Philippe Montour. But I tell you, this young 17-year-old, this charge up to the front, and just the maturity he's showing on the track. I guess, you've been racing 100 horsepower snowmobile since you're 5. You've obviously got the big power looseness figured out.
Yeah, have a look where he is. He's at Daytona International Raceway for his very first time, and he's getting it. Fiorelli did a big check after Nelson's move there, and I don't blame him for that. He had no idea what was going to happen next. Meanwhile, Fiorelli now has to deal with Louis-Philippe.
Well, that's a very good point, isn't it? When that car is all crossed up, yes, Nelson saved it, but if he doesn't and you do something brazen, it could be a big cost factor. And so a smart move there, but it did give Nelson that little bit of a gap. And as you said, now he looks and all he sees is that big black nose behind him of that ACR-X sweeping through the infamous International Horseshoe. Now that run down to that quick left-hand kink and then into the other horseshoe that gets them through and up, and then shortly thereafter back up onto that legendary banking. Over 30 degrees banking, and these Vipers are just eating it up. And look at that shot, looking back from Fiorelli.
Lest you believe back at home that they're not using all of the banking, they are, or virtually all of it, Greg. It's about 90% of the banking, the full oval that they use here at Daytona International Raceway, with the infield is kind of an interruption in the middle.
Absolutely, that little bus stop in the back just to kind of relieve the loads going into what would be the banking turn 3, and that's been used for years in the 24 hours races here, just to help those sports cars that aren't really designed for flat out all the way around this load of banking. And they get flat out here in a hurry, though, looking back again from Fiorelli, and they are heading now down to that legendary bus stop. And once again, Louis-Philippe takes a look. He's going to dive down to the inside. Boy, that's a shallow entrance. He's in too hot, too, all in the grass, sideways. And Fiorelli somehow once again sensed it, gave himself enough room, and gets a great drive back onto the banking.
Fiorelli's seen that same move twice by two different drivers. Now he knows what to do. He gets back on it, and he's taking the high line. Louis-Philippe down low.
And Eric Galern sitting back going, this is a great show. I'm glad I'm not in the middle of it right now because I don't want to wreck things up here. But he's got a great seat to watch this battle unfolding. And again that's that inside. Once you get side by side, it's just a little shorter. And in essence, you should be able to ease to the front, and that's what he did. Now he swings up to get ready for that entrance into turn 1, Tom. And what do we have unfolding here? Well, this is that battle. Jeff Courtney is trying to stay in the hunt in this one.
Meanwhile, A.J. Morgan is doing everything he can to keep him back. Farnbacher, Keating, Morgan, Courtney, and Stanton still your top 5. We'll be back.
The club, an amateur racer. Here at GoRacingTV, we salute you. And we want to give you all the tools and info to compete with the best. Find out how to do it all from your own garage by watching our Club Racer and Autocrosser shows. GoRacingTV.com, supplying all your video racing needs.
Heading into the final few laps of this 9th round of the Dodge Viper Cup, presented by Pennzoil Ultra at Daytona International Speedway. And of course, we've got great racing throughout the pack, but the focus is the championship. And these are the two guys that are hoping to be able to stay in it at the end of this one. But with Ben Keating up in front, right now it's sort of easing into miracle territory, and these two guys might need one to be able to have a run at this championship. But believe me, neither A.J. Morgan in that orange ACR-X or Jeff Courtney there on that Kenda Tire red and black machine are giving up.
You say it's going to be a miracle. I always thought mathematics was kind of miraculous when I was in school, and they still, all three of them, as they run right now, have a mathematical chance of winning this championship. Doesn't get much better than this.
No, absolutely, and that's what I meant. They are not giving up. They know one misstep by Keating, and we are now into the final lap of this one. And with Farnbacher out front, that's better for them than if Keating wins in terms of the points. Keating sits second, and then those two, and that is going to keep them alive, certainly into the final round of the championship. But you have to be impressed with the run that Dom Farnbacher has put in here in his first appearance in the ACR-X here in this championship.
Not only has he had an outstanding performance in the track, but in the garage area, he's one of the most courteous young men you'll ever want to meet. He fit right into the culture of the whole Dodge culture and the family, and he's been a joy to be with all weekend so far.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of working with him and announcing him in the American Le Mans series and the Rolex series and the like, and he is truly not only a class driver, but a class act as a person, and it's great to see. And he comes in here and is playing the team role to absolute perfection. Helped Ben get a little bit of a jump on everybody by towing him around, and then broke free just to go out and run. And I think, again, you have to give Ben some kudos here for saying no orders.
Totally. I mean, the very fact that Dominik Farnbacher looks like he's going to win this race, if Ben Keating could have found a way to get in front of him and use Dom for a block, it would have been better for him points-wise. But sportsman ever, Ben Keating is going to let this go probably to the final round.
Absolutely. We're into the bus stop for the last time.
He's
and now
having fun,
oh,
man.
you can see it, isn't he? He's just, I can imagine the grin inside that helmet is just absolutely nothing but teeth right now as he's coming out of these final two bank corners and into the dogleg here on the front stretch at Daytona International Speedway. First appearance, pole and a win. That's not bad.
Not bad at all, especially when you come halfway around the world to do it and drive a car that you've never sat in before.
It is impressive. There are the checkered flags. Farnbacher, the win from pole. Just an absolutely great performance. But again, that championship battle is the story behind him. There comes Keating and picks up second place and those valuable points as well. And of course, then we're watching, and it'll be, I think, A.J. Morgan. And we're going to be keeping an eye out for third is Jeff Courtney. And so they're alive. And that's the key thing. Very, very important there behind Keating with that second place finish. Then Morgan third, Courtney fourth. Points still in it. And here's the actual results at the end of the race. Farnbacher with the win. Keating, Morgan, Courtney, and Craig Stanton recovering from that problem at the start. And Louis-Philippe Montour and Eric Galern, great drives from back in the pack. Have to be very impressed with what they're doing. And Alan Johnson getting quicker for the Mopar Pro Stock driver. Ben Keating, there's the point spread. So very, very close still. This championship is well and truly on. As you take a look at the rest of the points players, but the top three are the ones going for the title, and it is going to be spectacular. There's a great image. Those two cars enjoying their ride around together as we take a look back, and Dom Farnbacher gets out of his beautiful Viper in victory circle, and of course, there's Tom.
Well, Ben Keating, before the race we talked to you and you said all that mattered was a Dodge Viper Exchange.com 1-2. You pulled it off.
Yes. It was great. It was a fun race. I kept up with Dominic for as long as I could. Messed up in the bus stop one time and he was gone, but we had a great race. We had a pretty good lead over the field and just ran a smart, clean race.
Well, Dominic, your first run in Dodge Viper Cup, you can't do any better than that. You won for the sponsor, you won for yourself, and of course, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, guys. I mean, it was a really cool race, and I really enjoyed it. Thanks to Ben and Viper Exchange making that happen, and really enjoyed it, and I can't wait for tomorrow.
Well, you know what the best thing about a Dodge Viper Cup weekend is, guys?
What's that?
We get to do it twice.
Yes, exactly.
Congratulations, guys. All the best.
Well, two. 1, 2. You too.
Great. Well, A.J. Morgan, you're going back for your master's degree. Mathematics is a part of that. I know you've crunched the numbers. You're staying alive for race number 10.
Yeah, I'm trying not to pay attention to the numbers too much, so I got enough to focus on with dialing this car. And yesterday was the worst testing day ever. Just couldn't get enough laps with just bad luck with tires. So today I just learned a lot in that race, so it's time to go make some tweaks for tomorrow and see if we can run down that championship.
Other than the fact that you haven't run the numbers, certainly you must feel some pressure on you.
Oh, there's definitely pressure, but as a race car driver, you just try not to pay attention to it because then you'll make some unforced errors. So I'm just keeping my head on my shoulders, and we'll see what we can do tomorrow.
Well, as a champion driver, going after a championship, you never give up. Even if your first day at the track is problematic, you fight through it, and he did with a great, great run. And as we talked about, we're not done. One more round yet to go to decide the championship in the 2011 Dodge Viper Cup presented by Pennzoil Ultra. and that will be unfolding right back here at Daytona International Speedway. An absolutely wonderful venue, very challenging track, very high-speed track, and one that the drivers, with these cars in particular, are enjoying immensely. Keating leads the points, but close at hand, A.J. Morgan and Jeff Courtney will settle it in round 10 of the Dodge Viper Cup, presented by Pennzoil Ultra on those great Michelin tires. It's all come down to the next round. Join us then.